Hey everybody, it's Monday and we're gonna do more Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're basically doing the escapades, because you're basically the last part of the game I haven't really did. The side stories, basically. I checked things up, because I mentioned I was going to check them up when we finish the main story. Depends on how long it was going to be. I might have done this week or next week. Might have did them or not, but yeah. I checked them out, they're like 10 or 20 minutes at most, so I'm fine with doing the episodes. So we're just gonna go to the special content in the DSTV short story act. Yeah. We're gonna do all 8, so episode 1, episode these are, I believe, all based around the first game. Yeah, because the last one seems to be okay. So episode 1, in the Venice antechamber. In the first of the escapades, Runisa, he finds 2 troublemaking witnesses from his Earth in the trial having a battle of words in the Venice antechamber, leading to a real tongue lashing. CSM, but okay, so let's just do them. I hope I'm having a good day. 22nd November, 3:08 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicial Defendants Antechamber. 5. Just look at what prices Stranger and I! Myself, I have scrubbed and scrubbed! But the repellent odor of meat will never be repelled from its resplendent surface again! Do you have it back in your possession? But you have it back in your possessions at least! You should be grateful, old man! I dare you! Excuse me, but I'd just like to get all that Sapoton cuisine there if I could. Ah. Rest assured, your miserable military malefactor. This is not over. Incarceration awaits those who would defraud a senior citizen for his priceless treasure. Watch your tongue, old man. My words, I won't. Sorry, Sergeant, but could I just get at that Sabuton cuisine there as well? Oh. I won't go to the jail! Never! Imagine if I did! Our next day, my boy would starve about the chain of command in place to provide for him. He's not a child to protect yourself. Myself, I call that obstinate cowardice. Oh, really? And who just employed the poor old defenseless senile citizen tactic, huh? The only way to find an enemy who uses the underhand tactics is with a tilt for tat strategy. Sorry to interrupt again, but I just need to get at that Western Zach cuisine there on the sofa. Enough of this insubordination. What do you want, man? Oh, please. Don't mind me. Ha! Nice to see me? Or is that the wide-eyed criminal from the trial before? Wide-eyed, perhaps, but criminal? No. What is this unhappy fascination you exhibit with the seating arrangements of others? Why were you peering under the cuisine of this upholstered seat? Oh, well, the thing is... Any luck? Did you find it? No, sadly not. How to think it's here, Cosima. You really are a liability, Runisaki. Report at once! Have you lost something? Is that it? Yes, we were just on our way to a party to celebrate my friend's victory here, when... I realized that my university pin badge was missing. A university pin badge, you say? Yes, from my collar here. You see? Oh yeah, right. I won't have access to a court representative. Affirmative! Uniforms must be kept in prime condition at all times. Missing badge is unacceptable. I thought if I look around, it would perhaps turn up somewhere. Like the old tale of the Coban coin and the stick. A parable of which I am actually aware. But I exhausted my search and the only logical conclusion It says someone must have stolen it. Don't look at me! I didn't find any old metal object irresistible, you know. Imagine what would happen if little trooper Ido here swallowed something like that. I'm afraid we'll have to give up, Rinosaki. Still, if you tell the office your student number, they should be able to issue you a new one. What's the matter? Don't tell me. Yes, I don't remember my student number. I don't believe it. I mean, this is the second time you've lost your badge, isn't it? Third, actually. You didn't think you could remember it? You should have made a note of it somewhere. I told you that, but until I was blue in the face from the last time it happened. Yes, I do seem to remember someone telling me something along those lines. It was you, wasn't it? You can't remember. You can't even remember who told you that. You remember it. Well, student numbers are 6 digits, Casimir. You can remember 6 whole digits. Yume isn't exactly a long-established university, you know. A lot of our numbers are still rather low. In fact, they only use the last 3 digits. Well, that might help, I suppose. That might help. Rinosaki, it's only 3 digits you need to remember. Just 3. Sorry, my brain is such a disappointment. Yes, well, anyway, young man, myself, I was greatly inspired with you in the courtroom today. Oh, you mean me? A lawyer already? Or even graduate? And such a loyal friend to this one. This one? What's that supposed to mean? Oh no, I still have much to learn. In fact, that was brought home to me in no uncertainty terms only last year. Kilishia was spectacularly exposed by my best friend here. Indeed. What? By me? This is the first I've ever heard of it. Yes, by Runosaki Naruhodo. You can't have forgotten, surely. It was last summer, at the speech contest. The speech contest? Oh, that. Contestants have to take to the stage and deliver a public address on any subject they choose. We were competing to get the most compelling and powerful speech. And yours was great! It made a huge impression on the audience. Obviously, since I was a budding student of law, I was determined to win. And sure enough, one by one, my opposition failed. When I reached the finals at least, I came up against you. Yes, so you did. Not being rude, when I first laid eyes on you, I thought to myself, this cheeky, wide-eyed no-hoper is out of his steps. He's going to be a pushover. That's your version of not being rude, is it? Well, I pay for my complacency because I brought that on that humiliating defeat. Defeat? Were your ranks compromised? My speech was going very well. I had the audience in the palm of my hands. They hung on my every word. And then, when I came to the very last line... Yes, what happened at the very last line? It was supposed to be a climactic end. Unfortunately, I completely fouled it up. Never! You mean, you stumbled on your words? Spectacularly. Even I can't believe I ruined it. Well, what on earth did you say, man? Runosaki, you better say it. I still can't get my tongue around it. Sure, of course. I still recall it perfectly. What you said in your speech. Or rather, What you intended to say at the end of your speech was this. So rise, ladies and gentlemen, and applaud our forefathers' plight to the fight for filial piety. And what went wrong? What indeed? Myself, I see no problem with the pronunciation of the piety words. In that case, so man, I invite you to say it yourself. Very well then, I shall. So arise, ladies and gentlemen, and applaud our forefathers' plight and the flight. The fight and the flight. It's impossible! The arise, ladies and gentlemen part, I deliver perfectly. But the next part had me floundering for a whole 5 minutes. By the end of it, I was on my knees in front of the podium. A babbling mess. And that's when the audience started to heckle you? Arise! Arise! They were shouting. Hell on earth! Then, of course, this man went and delivered his word-perfect speech with a perfect ending. How did it go again? Let me see. So, my dear fellows, the message is simple. Treat your fathers and mothers with respect. Something like that. I mean, talk about stating the obvious. But the fact is, I lost that speech. Tongue-tied is the only way to describe it. Well, it is quite tricky to say, I agree. The final fight or fellow flight. Oh no, it's fight or flight, fight for flight, or fight or fellow flight, especially. And ever since that day, I had this question running around my head. Why did our forefathers choose such an awkward phase? Was it to mock their children? I mean, it should never have been called flight in the first place. At least you're going to Great Britain soon. It might not come as much there. Well, anyway, having lost that accursed contest, I came after you to ask you a question. Why is it that you never trip up in your words? I inquire. And you just gave me a broad smile and said, speaking fast is my hobby. I mean, really? What kind of hobby is that? You think you could take your hands off your sword? Besides, it's just a way to pass the time. After that, you started talking to me tens to the dozens, like you were possessed. Almost. Honestly, I can't imagine the shock I suffered that day. You really can't. So you can't imagine the shock I suffered that day. You really can't. Also, I'm pretty sure that's a new animation platform, kind of. At least, maybe we've had it, but too. But this isn't. You're right. Really can't. Speaking fast is just sort of a hobby I expect a civilian like you to waste his time on. Well, you have to practice, of course. But there are some simple things to start with. Like this famous one, for example. Swift samurai sword swipes silently sideways. Swift samurai sword swipes... Swift samurai sword swipes silently sideways. That is a very notable tongue twister. Ah yes, even the scrape of tongue in the alien brains such as mine can find its way around that one. I have no doubt. It's just a bit of fun, really. I can't imagine anyone would struggle to say it. Isn't that right, Kazuma? What's the sword? A babbling mess of the battered word too. It's not just a samurai. Every good soldier needs to be able to handle a sword. That's why I've been busy teaching I to know the finer points of swordplay. None of this wordplay nonsense, Private. think of it, it's not long after that we started attending lectures together, didn't we? And we got into that debate about family values at the Sukiyaki place on campus. Do you remember? Yes, your arguments was full of jokes and puns and wordplay as usual. I remember it well. Oh, was it? Did that a hiss? I swore that I'd never let myself forget the shock you gave me back then. And as a symbol of how serious I took that oath, I declared I wore this. I read Hajimaki headband. That explains it. Maybe. Sorry, Cosmo. Yes? You've lost me there, I'm afraid. I don't see the link. What does your red headband have to do with your oath? Just because it always reminds me of that smug look in your face as you utter those tantalizing words. What words? You mean another tongue twister? I practiced and practiced until my tongue bled, but in the end, I mastered it. Mastered what? Well, I think it's time you hear this, actually. Listen carefully now. Here it goes. Red headband, leaf, red headband, dead headband. There, word perfect. See? I actually been meaning to ask you about that. About the story behind your headband, I mean. Well, now you know. So that I'll never forget the shock and humiliation of that day. And that's why I wear this red headband every single day without fail. It was second game. Well, I don't know exactly how much of a shock you think you had back then, but it can't be more than the shock you just gave me now. What do you mean? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but the tongue twister I said didn't go the way you seem to have remembered it. Hmm? It's just as famous as Swift Samurai Sword. But I can't believe you don't know it, really. It goes, red bread pan, lead bread pan, dead bread man. Red bread pan, lead bread pan, dead bread man. Wait, what? Red bread... Arrgh! A bad rep... Arrgh! It seems I knocked some wind out of that headband of yours. It's not too late, Private. You always start wearing a red bread pan on your head instead. You UFO figures is manifest, young man. Your cheeks are glowing redder than your Hachimaki. Why do so many words have to be so similar? So, looking forward to Great Britain then. Where you'll have to deliver speeches in court in English. I suppose I can always see shells on the seashore. You actually got it right too. In the end. Yeah, they're about 20 minutes. Okay. Episode 2. In the first class cabin. In the second escapade, it transpires that another crime was committed on the SS Burra. The stakes are high as Sholmes and Stroganoff pursue the culprit. But there's more to the crime scene than meets the eye. There's more to the crime than meets the eye. Okay. 2nd of January, 6:23 PM, SS Burra. First class cabinet. Number 1. It's almost 2 weeks now since we left Japan. I can't believe how quickly time has gone. So, our next port of call will be Shanghai. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Who could it be at this hour? A detective! A detective? Who? A great detective! I don't get it. Secret detective, if you'd just be so kind as to open the door. Oh yes, sorry, of course. Is something wrong, detective? Are you investigating the kiss? Wherever the great detective goes, great kisses occur. Indeed, I am the root of all evil. That would like, yeah. Sorry? And I don't think I want you in my cabin. Under our very noses on the steamship, a terrible theft has just occurred. What? You noticed, I presume? A brief power failure a short while ago. Oh yes! The power couldn't have been out for more than 10 minutes though. Indeed, yet there was ample time for this wicked crime to be perpetrated. I see. Well, clearly it's a case that needs investigating. Precisely. The culprit ran away in this direction! Down the first-class cabinet passageway here. Really? If he came this way? I'm quite sure of it. It may have escaped the attention of the team with a crew, but not of the great detective. To that end, I would be obliged if you allow me to investigate here in this cabin. Well, I'm curious. Is there some reason why it would inconvenience you to have your cabin searched? Inconvenient me? Well, I'd be lying if I said no. After all, there's a stowaway in that wardrobe right over there. It's just me here, you see? No one else. Do you might perhaps want to focus your attention on one of the other first-class cabins? As it happens, you're the only first-class passenger present. The other cabins are vacant. Oh! Prone? Did that rather tragic rumbling of a stomach arise from within you, my good fellow? Of course, as I said, I'm the only person here. It's not long until dinner night, so perhaps we could do this afterwards? I do apologize, sir, but it's of the first importance that the investigation is not delayed. No, you should be. Holy crap, where'd he go? Where? Where'd he go? Please tell me he's gonna hang on a coat hanger. How did he suddenly move all the way over there? Yes, without doubt. If the culprit were to be hiding in this cabin, it would have had to been inside this wardrobe. I shall need to examine this wardrobe thoroughly. I presume you have no objections? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to decline. Really, you won't find I... Achoo! Achoo! Those two rather tragic sneezes arise from your good self. Oh, of course they did. As I said, I'm the only person here. You have a curious knack for talking while sneezing then. Twice, no less. It's gonna be a tough one to argue. I was watching you quite intently, sir, and I assure you I saw no signs of a sneeze. Art! You really thought he could have held his nose? As I was saying, I shall need to examine this wardrobe. You have a night and game's up. Click. Nobody signed in there, it seems. What? You seem surprised. No, not. Oh, yes. I, um, he was in there for sure. I shut the doors on him myself. More visitors? Who's this thing? Excuse me. Oh, Seaman Stroganoff. Sorry for disturbing. A crime has been committed on board ship. Yes, I heard. A terrible theft, apparently. How do you know this? Well, the detective here just informed me, you see. Detective? Yes, I see you must have asked him to investigate. Detective, could you? Where'd he go? I must ask you to cooperate with investigation into this crime, fully. Uh-oh. He's glaring at the wardrobe already. Arn! Well done, you found me! But what are you doing hiding in my wardrobe? Like a man, I was merely assessing the practicality of concealing in such a place. And I would say, at a push, a human could survive for up to 5 minutes in that cramped space. Misaki has been there for a fortnight. Is he not human? Who are you? Shh! This is the moment of truth! The Great Detective is about to unravel the sordid details of this wretched crime. You mean to say? Yes, there can be no doubt that the culprit of this terrible theft did indeed conceal himself within this wardrobe. What? But that's impossible. He couldn't have done. Because my best friend was in there the entire time. Or at least, I thought he was. How can you be sure of this? MNG, my dear fellow. The criminals that left behind them the most revealing evidence. How could you explain these 3 bones? Ah! What the? Dang! Look at the gnaw bones in there. And 3 of them. Ah, the criminal has escaped this time, but I will find him and crush him. Can I ask you something, detective? Why, yes, of course. I'd always like to answer an inquired mind. In this terrible thief, what exactly was stolen? Ha! What else? But some steak on the rib bone. Huh? Did you say steak on the rib bone? For the season's dinner, 3 rib sticks were stolen from the ship's kitchen only a short time ago. There was some malfunction with the generator and the ship was without lights for 10 minutes. Jeffrey saw a criminal said he ran away down first-class passageway. And now I'm on his tail. I'm afraid to say, my dear fellows, that your man is no longer in his cabin. Why? Through the cabin door, no less. And the father's hall in his wardrobe, the culprit discarded his bones and concealed himself behind the cabin doors as he came inside. Then, when attention was turned to the wardrobe, he seized the chance to escape through the door. Come door. What? Make haste, good man. Out of the cupboard. I shall follow presently.
Hold it!
Someone troubling you, sir? I think maybe criminal is not running away at all. What are you suggesting? Now I know where dog is buried, Mr. Soki. Me? Ah! And I think that you are a culprit. Everything is falling into place. We turned that discipline in first-class passageway. The boats in the wardrobe. All clues are pointing their fingers at you. I'm ridiculous. I never. Yes, of course. I established at once that you couldn't be the perpetrator of this crime. You did? Why? How are you so sure? My dear fellows, there are but two things in this world of which one can rely with total certainty. Two things. The first is that the great detective, and second, second is the tragic rumbling of an empty belly. Again. When I first entered this cabin, there did arise this gentleman a belly rumbling, so obviously tragic, and I confirm beyond all doubt that the man has not eaten a rib steak in some time, let alone 3. Why do I have to suffer this humiliation when I've done nothing wrong? Curses! I will catch this thief. He couldn't have gotten far. Indeed, assuming he decided against the post-meal consultation swim. Oh, if you excuse me now, my apologies for stopping your evening. Detective, one moment, please. Yes? That was a most remarkable deduction. Perhaps you'd be so kind to tell me your name? It quite slipped my mind. You have been talking with the one and only Herlock Sholmes. I see. Well, I'm Cosmo Sogi. I'm a student on my way to Great Britain. Pleased to make your acquaintance, Mr. Sogi. Oh, before I forget. Yes? I feel I should warn you. Live cargo is strictly forbidden on this vessel. So you would do well to conceal the stowaway currently laying low under your bed as carefully as possible. Oh, under the bed? I bid you farewell then, Mr. Sogi. You uncovered our secret! I suppose that you expected nothing less of a great detective. Now then, when did you move under the bed under the bed? I thought we had it when you opened the wardrobe door. Well, it was thanks to that split-second chance you engineered that I won. You distracted him for a moment, remember? When you suggested that he investigate the other cabins instead. Oh yes, he looked towards the corridors, didn't he? Well, I couldn't see what he was doing, of course. But I thought to myself, it's now or never. And next thing I knew, I was under the bed. You really know how to give me a scare, don't you? Anyway. What's all this about the ripped sticks, eh? Sorry about that. I just been so hungry. Ever since we left Japan, stuck in that tiny wardrobe. Well, you know, you've been splitting all your meals with me. You must be starving too, surely. Right on cue. And there was that power cut before, wasn't there? For about 10 minutes. So it was then. I caught a whiff of the most delicious smell. And I thought to myself, it's now or never. The next thing I knew, I had a stick in my hand. This man just can't help getting himself into trouble. Well, alright. If you were hungry, but 3 sticks? Thanks to you, 3 criminals are going To go fight dinner, I imagine. No, it was just the one. What? I only took one ripstick from the kitchen, that's all. But I don't understand. Hey, I'm not that selfish. I stole 3 sticks. I at least tossed one your way. I'm not your pet dog. Well, in that case, who stole the other 2? Ah! Do you think... Could there be a ghost on board? A meat-loving ghost? There could only have been a single bone in the wardrobe when Rin and Saki moved to hide under their bed. Which means the other 2 bones could only have been put there by one very flesh and blood person. What's so funny? We're on a haunted ghost ship. A great detective, or a great mischief maker. Either way, I think I'd like to spend a little more time getting to know that man. The Great Herlock Jones. Ah, he got it wrong too. Yeah, these are like 20 minutes. We can definitely get all of it done. Maybe. I'm so free! At the Bray Supreme Court. This escapade takes place as Ryusaki and Susanoo visit Lord Strongheart to report on the outcome of Mr. Nasumi's trial. And find ourselves a flustered Inspector Grayson attempting to solve a very taxing problem before his time runs out. Alright. 27th February, 9:17 AM, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Here we go again. Here we are again. Every time we visit here, the atmosphere in this place seems to get more and more overbearing. Just think, we could be at home with Mr. Sholmes and Iris having a nice, cozy breakfast. But we have a duty to report the outcome of the case, especially since we're guests here in Britain. I'm afraid this visit couldn't have been avoided. I suppose not. But is there even anyone here? I could hear a pin drop in this place. It's too solemn for its own good. It's very quiet, isn't it? The only sound is the ticking of the great clock as it keeps perfect time. Tock, 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 tock. Patter, 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 patter. What was that, I wonder? The usual comforting sound of the clock seems to have been joined by a less confronting shuffling sound today. Tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. Ha, ha. You're right. Something disturbing is rhythmical ticking. It sounds rather like an unfit middle-aged man running from pillar to post, clumsily. What are you calling unfit? Oh, Inspector Grayson! What are you doing here? What about... Is that flaming obvious? 58 seconds remaining, Inspector. Arrgh! We'll have to talk later, Sunshine. Good morning, Lord Strongheart. Wow. He's really looking fiercely at his pocket watch today. And good morning to you. This is so early in the day. Oh, yes. Well, I mean, it's about the other day. We are to deliver our report, Long Strongheart. As our dealings with Mr. Sumi are now over. Ah, yes, the little Japanese man. I've already cast my eyes over Fan 6 reports. Patter, 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 patter. Eh, eh, eh. I must say, the outcome surprised me. I thank you for a job well done. You are too kind, my lord. It's not here! It's not there! It's not over there either! I hope you don't mind me asking, but what exactly is the inspector doing? He's been peering between the bookshelves, looking beside himself with worry. He's looking for a particular work, A Lion's Pride. There's an all too familiar title. I heard it was a popular tale, so I obtained a copy from the rental library. However, it wasn't able to retain my interest, so I soon cast it aside. I happened to notice a vacant spot on one of my shelves at the time, so I duly stowed the book there. Fortunately, I no longer remember where that was. No, not there! Not here either! Come on! Where are you, lions hiding? The book is due back today, so I asked Grayson to locate it for me with his investigation prowess. Inside 5 minutes. I must say, I've never seen anyone work so hard to find something. He's like a man possessed. Ah yes, that's because his mom's salary is staked upon the outcome. And whose insignificance? Let me guess. The stony-faced lord. Ah, and 5 minutes time limit. What's the significance of that? There is none. Just my vulgar, mischievous spirit showing itself, I'm afraid. Oh, by your own admission. Arrgh! I can't. My feet are killing me. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up, Inspector. Which means that next month you work underpaid and have no days off. Oh, no days off? The birds! The birds! There really are so many books here. It's overwhelming. For some, perhaps. I purchased every book, new or old, on the subject of law from all over the globe. Wouldn't have believed it a few short decades ago. A place like this couldn't have existed. What do you mean, Inspector? When I was a lad, no one ever dreamed of buying books. Oh, I see. Western books are such luxurious items, I suppose, with their leather colors and fancy bindings. No, that's not it. Oh? There was a tax on paper, see? Oh, on paper? Yeah, I mean, it was abolished about 30 years back now, but it used to be the case. There was a tax levied on any kind of paper. So obviously, that meant most folks couldn't afford to buy any books at all. Ah! So is that why places like the rental books, the rental library you mentioned before came into assistance, Lord Strongheart? Indeed. Prestige of the tax system, you could say. The general public consider books as items for hire. London is the home of the fast-lending library of some 3.5 million books, as for predicted by birds. The timing on that was off. You couldn't have to read all of that, even if you were reincarnated 10,000 times. Even I would choose to rent a book rather than purchase it, if I knew I would read it infrequently. The subject of taxes actually surprised us already in the last few days. It came up in Mr. Semi's trial. It seems that the window in this room was filled in due to some kind of window tax. That would be true. Fortunately, the window tax was abolished in here some 40 years ago. Sadly, in the East End in particular, many windowless houses remain. Britain's always had a bit of a thing for tax and stuff. Whatever they can tax, they tax. Sugar, salt, tea, coffee, you name it. Candles, beer, beards. Beer tax. Beer. Oh, beers taxes. That's an odd one. Wait, sorry. What was the last one? Did you say beards? Yep, the beards tax. Never heard of it? Never. Why would people have to pay money just because they let their facial hair grow? You might well ask. I suppose it's because it makes them look self-important. The Naruhodos will have a strict family policy of no facial hair, I think. Well, I gotta double check that. You can relax, the beard tax was confined to the annals of history long ago. Hold on. Hi, wanna check this out? So maybe a little history lesson here. Oh my god, it's true. If this is to be believed. King Henry VIII's beard tax. Yeah, beard tax is a government policy. So this is some information that from briefly on. A beard tax is a government policy that requires men to pay the privilege of wearing a beard. The most well-documented beard tax was placed in Russia during the 18th century, which was now there's a few. Emperor Peter I of Russia had the beard tax, and that lasted for a while. So yeah, King Henry VIII for Britain. In France, it was Francis I of France in the early 1500s. We're gonna receive approval from the Pope, okay. And in Yemen, introduced a no. Oh wow, the opposite in Yemen. In 1946, a king introduced the no beard tax, allowing men with clean-shaven faces to pay a tax in lieu for growing a beard. That's crazy. That was all like very long ago. Wow. Yeah, that makes sense now. Even so, it's clearly something the British really love. Paying taxes, I mean. Pay them? You got that back to front, sunshine. But you can't deny you had a lot of funny taxes over the years. You'd never find anything like that in Japan. Would you, Mr. Sano? In actual fact, I'm afraid to say you would, Mr. Naruhodo. What? No! You don't mean... Surely there's never been a window tax in Japan. No, but there has been similar obscure taxes. For example, in the Edo period, there was a frontage tax. What was that? It was a tax not for windows, but on the entrance of to properties. The larger the property's entry was, the greater the tax that was levied on it. Even today, some mansions survive of extremely narrow entrances due to that old form of taxation. Hey Ozzy, how you doing? Wow. Long ago, there were some weird tax laws. I had no idea. Hope you're having a good day, Ozzy. Japanese are as twisted as those Brits. Hey Electricity, how you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, but we never had a beer tax. I mean, that's really a step too far. Also, I looked this up. That's a legitimate thing. Kind of did the babysit. Ah. The whole thing's go well. Try mess about with it in the training rounds. You might be able to help. But also, electricity. Hope you're on a good day. Also, for anyone who's joining us, we're doing like the escapades in this game, so these aren't actually related to the actual game. It's just extra episodes of because we finished the story. Well, no, that's true. I'm not aware of any taxes for beards, at least. What do you mean, at least? Oh no. Oh no, what are we going to get this time? Well, rather than tax him, she is going. Maybe that's because I didn't. Ah, okay. But the you're gonna did once prohibit them, am I right? Oh, the ruling class prohibited beards. It was called the Great Beard Prohibition. It was an Edo period edict. Why did the powers that be want to ban beards? Yeah, like I said, I hope things go up for you not then. Because it makes people look self-important. Just an idea. Seeing the rulers in the east and the west had very similar ideas over the years. That's scary. There have been other unusual taxes in our history. Even in our current Meiji period. They have... For example, it was before either of us were born, there was a rabbit tax. There was a tax on rabbits? There was a tax on those adorable fluffy creatures? Like the ones who make mochi sweets on the moon? Why are we getting auto-saving on side story? Yes, and it was an extremely large tax. The government demanded extraordinary sums of money. Oh dear. This just keeps you stranger and stranger. What was the reason for that bizarre tax then? Well, Japan opened stores to the world. There was an unprecedented rabbit boom in the Meiji capital. Oh, a boom? Yes, keeping rabbits became hugely popular. And new species were traded at exorbitant prices. People were even swindled out of all their money for exotically colored rabbits. Oh dear. Like colored chicks, I suppose. I'd imagine, no? Rabbits are so timid and quiet. When I fall one bankrupt you. Ouch. In response to this worrying social... Okay, the government imposed a rabbit tax. I suppose they couldn't just ignore the problem. And it worked! Because the rabbit boom came to an abrupt end. 6 years later, the tax was abolished. Well, I hate to say about my country, but Japan is strange. Even that might still be accurate. Although I've also heard that I think they actually have an actual life-size Gundam. Might be wrong on that one though. There's more. After the rabbit tax was abolished then, of course. Saturday reacted by launching his straight into his second rabbit. Oh god! Oh dear, the government didn't think that one through, did they? Your ideas about the world are very much altered by the position you hold in society. If you're responsible for running the country, of a country, you would feel the need to raise revenue nearly. By the stable taxation system, the whole country would go down the drain. Well, yes, I suppose so. Some of these taxes. That's precisely why ministers of states use their funds to invent new and novel ways of taxing the public. Novel ways? Uh-oh. Tell me, Miss Naruhodo, if you were one of my country's statesmen, a British statesman? Yes. What novel tax would you impose? Ray, give us something truly original. Oh, let me get the choice. Inside 5 seconds. What? Because something that everyone uses was not hurdle. And really screens every penny out of the population. Yes, Susano, please! It's quite intense, sir. I'm very glad Susano-san isn't in charge. Time is up. So, what's your answer? Well... Air, maybe. Yes, how about air? An air tax, you say? Oh, well done, Mr. Naruto. A truly novel and fiendish idea. Well, everyone has to breathe, so while the population isn't healing air, my government isn't healing money. Blimey, you're a darn of art, eh? A somewhat radical solution to a country's revenue problem. But sadly not an original one. No? You mean to say... Surely not. You mean a tax order has been imposed in the past? It was last century, the finance minister of our neighboring France proposed it. Oh. It's... I want to see if that was actually true, but... What? If I ever go to visit, I'm holding my breath. If anything, it's just airport taxes I'm getting, but nothing about air. Okay. Unsurprisingly, it was strongly opposed by the public and soon scrapped. The minister didn't last long either. Oh, that explains why. Oh dear. Look, clearly that would have been an untenable situation. The public at large are forced to be reckoned with. Don't I know it. How about you, Inspector? What new tax would you impose? Let me see. My first thought is a tax on objections. Sorry? Been here far too many of them recently in court. There's a particular lawyer have a mind as it happens. Or Naruto. So I think an objection tax could be very handy. Good to see you don't allow your personal views to influence your work in public office. I reckon 5 pence for every objection raised would be about right. Our penalties would be... A most amusing proposal, Grayson. A most amusing proposal, my lord. Well, that ends up that episode. Oh, no, there's more. Well then, I think it's your turn now. Sorry, my turn for one. Why, what else? Oh, look at my missing copy of The Lion's Pride. Oh! It's on one of the shelves in this room. But I am certain. Now I shall give you 10 minutes. Unless take your students to strip in on it. Be able to find the book and you'll forfeit next month's payment. Objection! Time starts? No. Oh, one more thing. I believe you just said the word objection. Kindly leave your 5 pence over there before you begin your combing the shelves. This sex is going to be the death of me. Again, extra episode. Anyway, that's episode 3 done in Shum's suite before the escapade unfolds one morning on Baker Street, where Iris prepares the breakfast for everyone as usual. Rinasaki wakes to find an envelope under his door containing a death threat. Who on earth could have put it there, and why? 9th of March, 8:23 a.m. Sounds just sweet. Good morning, Iris. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. Okay. Oh, morning, Susie. I'll get breakfast on the table for us all. Mr. Sholmes? Morning. Come now. Why the long face? Oh, sorry. The thing is... I just had a rather strange envelope posted under my door this morning. There's some rather strange things inside. What strange things? Ooh, what is it, Bruno? Do I catch a scent of mystery in the air? I'm so silent with it, Iris. It was just 5 orange pips. I can't imagine what it could possibly... What? Orange pips? Miss Naruto? And 5 of them? What's the matter with you? That's a bit of an overreaction, isn't it? An overreaction? Miss Naruto, you don't understand! It's a warning! And those of imminent danger! To your life! What? To my life? What's the meaning of all this, Mr. Sholmes? My dear fellows, why do you make such an inquiry of me? Because the name of the sender was written on the envelope. And it was yours. Oh! You're right, Bruno. It says, sent by Sholmes, envoy of hell. So, my little ploy's been exposed. Well, so be it. Cast your minds back, if you will, Miss Naruto. The time of our dining last night. Oh yes, Mr. Sano cooked Japanese food for us. Indeed. In particular, you recall the final Noromaki sushi rolls that I was about to savour. That is, before you swooped in with your crackling chopsticks and finched them from under my nose. Oh, I assume because you left it. Oh, I assumed you left it that you didn't want it. I left it, my dear fellows, because I plan to enjoy it as my last mouthful. Surely you must have noticed my intent by the subtle diligence of my right pupil. Perhaps a clearer sign would be helpful next time. Just an idea. In summary, the post you received earlier is a notice of impending revenge. You should be quaking in your boots. Really? Because I went straight out of the garden and planted them. Hopefully, we may grow some exotic fruits. There's no point sending a notice of impending revenge if the person you sent it doesn't know what it is. Well, I knew it, of course, because I read this book. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. On sale now in all major London bookshops, I'm receiving rave reviews. Oh yes, of course. It's finally been published, hasn't it? I hear it's selling quite very well. It is! 12 short stories in one volume. I earn a lifetime spending money already. And it has further bolstered my name. In fact, only the other day, our Bohemian King sought to engage my services. Really? That's extraordinary. Of course, the gentleman persisted with some pretense about being a fishmonger for the duration. Only a fool would presume to be able to deceive my eyes with such a charade. How did you know he was the king then? Why? Because there's no mystery, my dear fellows. The sick smell of fish accompanied the man's lowly apparel. And though he tried to hide it, the left side of his mustache quivered in a quite manifest manner. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, that's simply brilliant! Having neatly resolved the case for the man, I was sent plenty of fresh code as a mark of his appreciation. I think perhaps you shouldn't discount the possibility that he actually was a fishmonger. Is that... Can anyone else smell burning? Oh yes, you're right. And look... Oh! I think maybe... Fire! Fire! There's a fire, everyone! Really? A fire? We must leave at once! Everyone out of the building! No, wait! I have to go back to my room first. Are you deranged? If you're not asphyxiated by the smokes, the flame will burn you to death! But my thermometer! I can't let my thermometer burn. It means too much. Drat! Sorry, but I'm gonna make a dash for upstairs. Oh, Bruno, you're so funny. There's no time for jokes, Iris. Go quickly, get out of here. But there is no fire. Is there, Huey? Huh? One would like to see that ploy and acted in the flesh. I wouldn't have dared to dream I should be so lucky. Miss Susano. It was a ploy! A devilish engineered by my plucky spirit. It's all a trick? Why? It was a simple experiment that the mind must never heard of. When his life is threatened, a fellow was compelled to instinctively to protect that property to which he's attached matches importance. And after your own life, Bruno, the most important thing to you seems to be your thermometer. Let's not dwell on that, shall we, Iris? So you knew all along, Mr. Sano, that it was a trick? Yes, of course. The ploy is described in this book. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. On sale in all major London bookshops. I'm receiving rave reviews. Not again. I have used that device quite satisfactory in the past to solve the case. Oh yes, it was a great success, wasn't it? But then it became something of a habit, didn't it? You started yelling fire at every crime scene. Why doesn't do in the actual games? In the end, people started to pay no attention to you at all. Yes, that's true. There was a time when I was known as the Shomes who cried wolf. I think there's a lesson to be learned in there somewhere. But sadly, when the ploy fails to yield results this time. Ours is utterly unmoved. What do you mean? Well, I was anticipating that Iris would immediately expose her secret hiding place. The location of the nest egg she must have cached somewhere in this room. Nest eggs? Think Iris has some secret savings? Why, naturally. The book is selling like hotcakes after all. It's a simple deduction indeed to conclude that the profits must have been concealed here within these walls. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, are you in need of money? Ah, I probably know what it is. It's that new microscope that's going on sale, isn't it, Huey? What else? I have such a strong desire to own one, yet my purse is £1 too light. Is there no... and as no offer of a loan has been forthcoming, I have been forced to resort to alternative stratagems. Hehe, sorry Huey, but I'm not falling for that. Not going to the Shomes who cried wolf. Arrgh! How vexing! You really shouldn't be trying to steal a 10-year-old's savings, you know. My book is full of little tricks like that, you see. The armory of the great detective. Except that in this case, both the orange pegs and the fake fire fell a little flat, didn't they? Oh, I have plenty more tricks up my sleeve. Take, for example, case of the bump of the Boscombe Valley mystery. I'm already filled with dread just from the title. It is a tale of extraordinary skills on the part of the great detective. The skill of tracking. Tracking? When I arrived at the scene of the crime and opposing ballet, there were footprints everywhere. But my eyes were immediately drawn to one set in particular. Oh, Mr. Jones, your detective instincts are truly remarkable. As you know, madame, no detail, no matter how small, escapes the scrutiny of these eyes. So I checked my quarry, following the trails of his footprints, all the way to the man's place of residence. It led you directly to the culprit's house? What a triumph! You misunderstood! It led me directly to my own house, my dear fellow. Huh? Where footprints were? In the analysis? Those made by my own shoes. Huey had left for the Gumby Valley as soon as he received the telegram about the case, you see. And then he followed his own trail straight back here to Baker Street. No, Iris, please. You make it sound almost humdrum, but I assure you, it was no easy feat. Tracking of this nature is a skill possessed only by the great Sherlock Holmes. You're right, it really is. Extraordinary. But so, extraordinary is the word! And let it be the last on the subject. Anyway, to say, I substantially went on to solve the case with various other deductions. Yes, it's the first other deductions that I'm interested in. Oh, well, you have to read the book then. I'm sure Iris's pen did with her usual flourish. Oh, absolutely. I put an ingenious spin on the great detective's exploits. It must have been very ingenious to make this man sound even remotely credible as a detective. Wait, is that? Does it smell like something's burning again? We had enough devilish for one day, Mr. Sholmes. Put your plucky spirit to bed. I assure you, this has nothing to do with me or my spirit. What? Oh no, the smoke's getting thicker! You mean, it's not a trick this time? There really is a... Fire! Fire! There's a fire, everyone! Ah! Mrs. Sano, where are you going? That is I, Miss Hodo. Easy, Mr. Jones, what are you... Did you smash the window? Mr. Sholmes! Why did you just chuck a bus in the pool? Check that bus of Napoleon on the floor. Oh, look at that! Amongst the broken coins, sovereignties, in fact, worth the whole pound each. Come on, everyone! We must leave at once! Evacuate the building! You've ever hurry. Hook, line, and sinker. Wait, you mean Iris? I certainly wouldn't have guessed that's where you're hiding it. You mean to say that this smoke was... My own puckish spirit needs to come out to play sometimes too, you know. What? Ah, of course! I knew what it was, Iris! What it is, Iris! It's that indoor herb garden set that went on sale last week, isn't it? That's what you're after! I wanted one so desperately, but I'm £4 short. And even though you told me you didn't have any money in spare before, I knew you had a secret nest egg somewhere in this room. Arrgh! What with me again? You really shouldn't let yourself be outwitted by a 10-year-old child, you know. So, thank you for the loan, Huey. Oh, but wait. What's the matter? Where's Susie? She disappeared. Oh yes, that's right. She ran up the stairs at 4, didn't she? Oh! What are you all still doing here? We have to evacuate. It won't be long before the fire is... Sorry, Susie. Children will We get up to mischief once in a while, you know. But it's all perfectly harmless. Harmless? Maybe. But oh, so devilish. Oh well, at least nobody was hurt. Apart from the bullion and my secret hoard, and your pride. Now tell me, Mrs. Zano, what is it that you went so fleetfully to fetch? Sorry? Oh, no, nothing. This is just, no, this is nothing. Susie, that's your notebook detailing all Bruno's trials, isn't it? It's bulging out the seams. What? Ah, a testament to various peoples you've helped over the past months. Susano, well, I am your judicial assistant after all. I would do anything to ensure the safety of these records. Even risk my life if necessary. I mean, it's very important to me. It's like a diary of everything we've achieved together. I'm getting all teary-eyed now. Yes, in stark contrast to a certain someone who would have to fetch his Dormana doll, I must say. That's the halfway mark. So, at Naruhodo's legal consultation, an escapade at Naruhodo's legal consultation, where Susano appears to be rather irritated because it seems Funosaki has been buying a little too much bric-a-brac, and now the whole is spraying with things they don't need. And his latest purchase has really rocked the boat with Iris and Susano. Fifth of March, 2:40 p.m. Naruhodo's legal consultation. Hello? I'm back. Oh, hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Did you have a good outing? Hi, Bruno. What's the matter? Your eyes are as big as dinner plates. Iris, I wasn't expecting to see you here. I just made some tea, Mr. Naruhodo. Would you like a cup? A cup or two? Yes, definitely tea. Alright, Bruno, what's going on? You're acting extremely strangely. What? Me? No, not at all. I'm as normal as no one could be. Normal old tea itself. See? Not again, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? Not what again? What do you mean, Susie? Whenever he goes out on his own lately, he always seems to come back with a particular new purchase. Particular? Peculiar, sorry, peculiar? What's peculiar about the things I bought? You seem to think that anything British is a cure you must have. You simply must have. You keep buying items of bric-a-brac even though you don't know what they actually are. Well, there's a rather lot of bric-a-brac shops and pawnbrokeries and the likes around here. It's when I've been to Lord Strongheart's to give reports. I'm always so nervous beforehand. On the way home, just find myself in those shops and yes, I can't deny it. I bought something. You're right, you can't deny it because your eyes are wider than ever. You really ought to put a warning sign about them. They're bigger than the potholes around here. That's some potholes around here, sorry. It's hard to resist things in a bric-a-brac shop. But it's all so cheap. Mr. Jones has given me lots of useful advice about how to pick out the real bargains. You must remember, Bruno, that he likes to have fun with you. He takes advice with a pinch of salt, with a big pinch of salt. Well, that's true. The things he told me were wasn't a pot stand at all. But I'd never guessed it was a collapsible top hat. No, and I never guessed that you could fill up this once empty room so quickly. Honestly, it's overflowing things we don't even need now. I mean, look at those scales! Not once have you weighed something on them. There are scales? Oh, they're scales! I know, but ever since I first stood at the defense in court, I don't know why, but I just really wanted my own set of skills. Let's see it then, Naruto. What have you come up with today? Oh, well, it's, one of these. What is it? It looks all dry and shriveled up in the ball. Really, Mr. Naruto, what is it? It's a sea anemone. An anemone? Yes, I mean, I know it doesn't look like it at the moment. It's all shriveled up, like you said. Aren't sea anemones a living creature? The one that dances around about on the seabed? Yes, exactly! The one that dances about on the seabed. Oh, they sell cinnamons in bric-a-brac shops here in Britain? I don't know whether they normally do or not, but I do know I bought one today. But why, Bruno? Well, yes, for the aquarium, of course. Aquarium? I don't know that word. Well, according to the shopkeeper, keeping sea creatures in tanks were hugely popular here in London before. Oh yes, some people have some beautiful fishes in seawater tanks. It's true. Having an aquarium became popular because the old glass tax was abolished. There it's again, rearing its ugly head, subject to taxation. It was a real craze for a while. Everyone in London had one. For a while? Yep, it didn't last long. People's enthusiasm soon waned. It's just far too much work to be changing the salt water regularly in a city like London. Never a true word said, I'm sure. You think people might have realized that from the start, really, wouldn't you? Anyway, that was long before I was born. So now everyone jokes that there was an unlawful aquarium covered in dust in every attic in this capital. And that's true. There's one in this attic too. When I told the man in the bric-a-brac shop about it, he had these words of wisdom. That's why this is the age of the sea animals. And that made a lot of sense to me. It made sense to you, did it? But Bruno, this animal is completely dried up. You just need to soak it in water overnight, and it'll be good as new. That's what the man said. I'm not sure that it works in the same way as dried Wakane seaweed, Mr. Naruto. Once I save some money, I'm going to buy some prawns to keep this fellow company. Oh, how exciting! Your office will be teeming with life. Well, really? Britain is a funny country, you know. I mean, see how many craze? Well, they say people in glass houses about continents like that here, Mr. Naruto. Don't forget that there was a very curious rabbit craze in our own country not so very long ago. A mortifying chapter that people will try to erase from the history books 100 years from now, I'm sure. You know, there was another craze as well before the aquarium one. Have you heard of the warden cases? Wardy? What? No, I definitely never heard of them. They were little green. Yeah, they were little grazed cases for growing plants indoors, I believe. Oh, I see. For plant lovers to raise their favorite tropical plants. That's right, like different types of ferns. Ferns? Do you mean those rather dull plants with lots of lawns for leaves? They're not dull at all. Ferns are lovely plants. I think people want to recreate the exotic foliage of the tropics in their own homes. So they grow ferns? I mean, ferns, sea anemones, London. Yeah, certainly have a knack for the obscure. Well, thinking about it, my grandfather loved the moss in his bonsai. He looked after it better than the trees. It seems like the more obscure something is, the more it interests people. Maybe. Anyway, the warden's kiss craze didn't last very long. Now most of those little glass cases are just gathering dust, I think. But haven't I seen one in your room, Iris? Oh, various servant of you, Susie. Yes, that's right. Mine's certainly not gathering dust. I grow tropical herbs in it. Well, Mr. Naruto, I must really ask you to stop all this frivolous spying of strange things. Yes, alright, sorry. It's just that, well, pick up by Mr. Sholmes' room. It's all such particular trinkets lying around. Oh, well, yes, that's true. They seem to be growing in number. Recently, I noticed a blowpipe, a few barrel crystal sets, and a twisted piece of gold. A gold rim princess. I spotted a small gramophone record in there the other day, so I slipped it onto the gramophone. But it was just a whispering voice saying "no better" and nothing more. What could it possibly be about? Those are all mementos of cases that Huey solved over the years. Exactly! That's what I want to create in here. That sort of atmosphere. Ah, a room full of minimal trinkets, each with their own unique history, you mean? Yes, yes, that! I knew you understand, Mr. Sano. But, Mr. Naruto, none of the things you bought for the room have any connection with any of your cases. Oh, don't they? Well, for example, take that splendid but rather weather-beaten top hat. That wasn't used as evidence in any of the cases we've worked on, was it? Oh! Do you have two top hats that you can count on? You can count if you count the collapsible one as well. No, the collapsible one is a pot stand. As far as I'm concerned anyway. The other day, when we were in court, they were everywhere, weren't they? Top hats, I mean. Well, hidden in Britain, of course. They are the mark of a true gentleman, so that's hardly surprising. If my mom wasn't wearing a top hat when he ventures out of doors, he'd be looked down upon. Gosh, it has a very strict rules, doesn't it? The English Gentleman Code. I've been wondering how I look in a top hat recently. After all, my university uniform is black as well, so I think it'd be very in keeping. Oh, what a good idea! Go on then, Renault, try it on. Please tell me we have a pitch. We get it. Aww. The lesson here, I suppose, is that that position of student and gentleman is so strange and wrong. Well, I rather it didn't suit me anyway. I mean, those hats are ridiculous. I'd be willing to bet every foreigner who sees me who sees one of these for the first time thinks exactly the same thing. Why is that man wearing a chimney on his head? People in glass houses, remember, Bruno? What do you mean? Well, what about Japanese Shumi's top knots? Whose haircuts are the height of ridiculousness? Right. At least you can take the hat off. Once you have a crumage, it's thrown your head for good. I'd be willing to bet every foreigner who sees his crumage for the first time thinks exactly the same thing. Why is that man wearing a cannon on his head? I suppose that's what it means to have different cultures, isn't it? On the subject of hats, the one Mr. Sholmes always wears is really very strange, don't you think? I beg your pardon, Mr. Uhuru? What a thing to say! That hat is the very essence of Mr. Sholmes. Yes! Without his deerstalker, the great detective would be unrecognizable. It's called a deerstalker? That's a surprisingly swanky name. It's the hat of a hunter, just like a flat cap. I made up my mind long ago to visit Regent Street and buy one for myself. I'm not sure it's going to fit over your hair. Well, I think it's perfect for the good detective who stalks his criminal quarry. What do you think is strange about it anyway? Well, you've seen it. It has two brims, one on the front and one on the back. Why did you need two brims on a hat? Surely one at the front's enough, no? One moment, please. If you ask me, it's just Mr. Sholmes' madcap personality coming through. I bet it's so that he doesn't have to think which way round to put it on or something like that. Mr. Sholmes doesn't have a madcap personality. He always has a clear head. Deerstalkers were made for hunters who have to hide in thicket when they were stalking their prey. The brim at the back was designed to stop the stalks of plants scratching the backs of their necks. Oh, so that's the reason. Thank you, Aris, for educating us. Mr. Sholmes doesn't spend a lot of time in the thicket, though, does he? Well, no, that's true. I'm telling you, it's just his infamous personality. That's my fear, and I'm sticking to it firmly. Ah! Here you all are! Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Sholmes. I've not long since made some tea, Mr. Sholmes. Would you like a cup? I see it come at a good time, Mr. Sano. Thank you. Now, I have something I'd like you all to see. I designed myself a brand new detective hat. Good detective hat, sorry. What the? There's a brim! The front! On the back! And at both sides! 4 brims in total! Your observation is quite correct, my dear madame. I'm a busy man, you see. But with this hat, whatever which way I put it on, I shall have it pointing the correct way. Oh! With my previous hat, I could, in an improvised moment, wear errancy at the brim on with the brim on either side. That's impressively clumsy, I must say. And I must really say, I think your madcap theory was correct after all. But really, Mr. Sholmes, brims on all 4 sides like that? Wouldn't it be better to wear a top hat instead? Oh yes! Then and however you put it on, you have a brim all around. What? So true! So true! How could I have been so bigger to this fact until now? Well, unfortunately, I happen to have 2 top hats here. If you just let the pot off it, you're welcome to try that one there. Indeed I shall, my good fellow. Much obliged. dear, Huey. It looks terrible. More terrible than I possibly have imagined. Oh, that's not good. Maybe it's because of your long face pair with the long tall hand. It just doesn't work. Well, I think it's very nice, Mr. Jones. Even if it will have the whole world in fits of laughter. Arrgh! I should never meddle with it! Give me a disc stalker for everyone! Give me my regular university hat forevermore. There's still hope that you'll graduate one day, Mr. Naruto. Don't give up. Right, so we're in episode 6 of Naruto's legal constancy. An escapade in Naruto's legal constancy, where Susanoo appears to be rather irritated because the scenes Murasaki has been buying. Oh no, we just said that. In Mr. Nasumi's room. In this escapade, Mr. Nasumi's room is revealed that the Japanese scholar was once a teacher of English. He has much to say on the cultural differences between Japan and Britain, as well as the sentimentality, Shakespeare, and cycling. Third of February, 6:09 p.m. Mr. Nasumi's room. Okay, so Mr. Nasumi, are you really returning home to Japan? Yes, indeed I am. Everything is arranged already. We'll be sad to see you go. And after Runa worked so hard to prove your innocence as well. What a shame. It feels like it was all a wasted effort. Don't say that! I know what you're suggesting. Like, calm down, Mr. Nasumi. It's all fine, really. You're in good company here, sir. If you're the Reaper, you needn't hide the fact. I'm a proud citizen of the Empire of Japan. I'm not a scaredy cat! Why, Jones is reading the book. Looking at cats, Mr. Jones just casually threw one among the pigeons there. A man like me belongs to Japan, not here. That's what I come to realize! I wonder. A mustache such as yours is eminently suited to London, I would say. Here goes Mr. Jones throwing another cat in. The moment I arrived in the city, I noticed everyone in London laughs at me behind my back, like hyenas! Hysterical hyenas! Hide horribly! I'm sure that's not true, Mr. Nasumi. Oh, but it is! When I turn around and peer down the Folksville streets, all I see is foreigners everywhere. Well, there's you, Bruno, and Susie here. That's 3 foreigners out of 5 people. I take your point. Only the other day, I was taking a stroll through the fog as usual, when a young man approached me from ahead. He was pale and gaunt, his back arched like a cat. Observing his wretchedness moved me so deeply. Ah, I thought to myself, I'm not the only one who's suffering in this hell. But, you know what? Can you imagine? It was just my own reflection in the shop window. A stunning, stinging, stupefying surprise! Don't forget that slap in the face. Everyone started laughing at me. Gentlemen stir bites, ladies passing by. Even the man in the shop window. Ah yes, and a certain great detective would like to be included among the mirthful. Arrgh! Mr. Jones is really going for Suzuki-san today. Well, I for one think you're a very handsome man, Mr. Nasumi. There, did you hear that? This 10-year-old girl thinks you're handsome. Isn't that wonderful? This This makes us feel suspiciously warm inside. He looks genuinely delighted. Point is, we Japanese are humble and modest. Studying on foreign soil, surrounded by foreign people, how could anyone possibly enjoy that? No one could. It's impossible. If you're a genuine Japanese. If you say so. Actually, it would appear that there is someone. A Japanese man who studied in a foreign country and seems to have thrived on the experience. There is? Mr. Ogai Mori. I believe he studied in Germany. Mr. Mori? Great, tell us more about this fellow. Well, today, he's a very successful author in Japan. Oh, I've heard of him. He's the professor who wrote My Jaime. Isn't he? My Jaime? I suppose in English the title would be Dancing Queen, maybe. Oh, I see. A tale of a woman who walks her way through the world, perhaps. You really need to make up silly translations, you know. It's already called The Dancing Girl in English. It seems Mr. Moore greatly enjoyed his time in Germany. He became close with a local lady while he was there. Close, you say? With a local lady? I can picture criminally contradictory conduct! Well, I suppose your experience in studying abroad depends to a large extent of your character. As they say, many men, many minds! Mr. Mori has an open mind, Mr. Sumi, a close one. Possibilities a slightly black and white view, don't you think, Mr. Sholmes? Well, anyway, if that's how you feel about being abroad, why don't you choose to study? Why did you choose to study here? Was it to further our national understandings of the English language or something? Yes, that's right. So what are you doing in Japan before you came to Great Britain then? I was a school teacher. Of English, of course. A bit curious, perhaps, but I might discover some information about Mr. Sumi's teaching days. That's just a little outside the field of law, isn't it, Mr. Sano? Well, let me pose you a question, Mr. Naruhodo. If you had to translate an English phrase, I love you, into Japanese, what would it become? That's easy. Oh. Ashitaru or Sukidazu. Wrong! According to Mr. Sumi's teachings, at least. What? Would you like to explain it, Mr. Nasumi? Yes, of course. Your research was very thorough. I always used to tell my students that we Japanese don't express ourselves that way. Rather, we might say, Tatsuki ga nakiri desu ne. My dear Nasumi, I must interject. Tatsuki ga desu ne, we translate as, the moon is spiritual, isn't it? I know that! The point is that we Japanese are big when it comes to expressing our emotions. We prefer to short feelings of adoration or suki by appreciating the beauty of the moon, the Tatsuki. I'm pretty sure I got that wrong. I'm getting that wrong. Ah, using the Tatsuki to express suki. It's an amusing play of words at sea. No! Or in language you might understand better. Bachos! It's not a play on words. It's subtle, it's humble, it's fleeting and beautiful. It's art! Is this just being shy? Ah. My dear fellows, a foreign dancing girl will forever be out of your reach with such an attitude. Imagine how the great Mr. Mori would act. He'll win the lady's heart in a flash with him well placed and unrestricted. I love you! Arrgh! That smooth Mr. Mori! Am I destined to live in the shadows forever? Yes, what sort of man is he in that imagination of yours? The fact is, I just can't settle in this foggy London town with all its foreign inhabitants. I've lost count of the number of different lodgings I tried before I found myself here. That's what happens. I even lived on Baker Street at one time. No, really? South lives near there. A man by the name of William James Craig. His knowledge of Sao was unsurprising. He became a great inspirer to me over the... Forgive the interruptions, but... Am I supposed to be familiar with this Sao you speak of? Of which you speak, sorry. It's Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare, but in Japanese. Rewrite it as Sha with an O. It's a poetic representation using kanji's characters. So English is Aikurisu, and American, it's America. Oh, Aigurishu. Okay. Come to think of it, we used to see characters as Ri in one word and Risu in another. Talk about confusing. So Shakespeare is Sao in Japan, in Japanese. I'm pretty sure I'm getting this wrong. Personally, the Sa is a real attempt at the word Sha, in which case, where is the Shakespeare? Never thought of that. We only have the O left. Which could, even in the most charitable interpretations, would only be a brutal attempt at old man. It seems to me that whoever had the job of deciding on the characters for his name got bored very early on. Completely kanji characters catastrophe! So then, on the burning question, what about me? How do you write my name? Sorry? Sherlock Jones, my dear fellow. There must be Japanese characters for my name. Oh dear. I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, but none assistant I'm aware of. What? Am I nothing to you Japanese? In that case, it's a matter of paramount importance. You must construct my name in kanji at once. Oh, well, we could use a kanji that pronounce so to start with, and then use one more to give so, oh, perhaps. I think that would be about right, Mr. Sholmes. But it's almost the same as Sao, isn't it? Yes! You employed the dreaded O! I don't want people to confuse him with the old man who died centuries ago! I'm sure the world's greatest literary figure would rather not be confused with you either. Well, the world's greatest detective is still youthful and full of vigor. So about so handsome. Oh yes, that sounds wonderful. I'm sure everyone will be calling you that in 100 years from now. How could you say that with a straight face? What about me then? Iris? Perhaps Aihime? Since the second character doesn't seem to matter. Yes, Princess of Love. What an adorable name for you, Iris. Stop, please! With a name like that, Mr. Mori is likely to turn up at any moment and rush to declare, I love you! Mori-sama has become quite a character in Suzuki-sama's mind. And you, Miss Naruto, might I venture Kurobozo as a fitting name for you? As in the Dark Mook? Oh, that's very good. It describes you perfectly, Runo. You think I'd be wearing this black varsity uniform for the rest of my days, do you? Miss Naruto already has a Japanese name. I don't believe he needs another. Well, anyway. We were talking about your life here in London, weren't we, Mr. Natsumi? You should just get out and have fun. The London has said that much to me too. Mrs. Garvett? It wasn't fun at all. It was frightful. Whatever do you mean? A cycle incident. An incident? On a bicycle? Oh yes. Come to think of it. There's an old bicycle park just outside, isn't there? In a sorry state too, though. I tried to say no to her, but she insisted I took it for a ride. Perhaps my pronunciation was wrong. So I took my life in my hands and attempted to ride the steel spiderweb stallion to the nearby park. I really don't think there's anything wrong with your pronunciation, Mr. Simi. Joan Garvett just isn't the kind of woman to take no for an answer. If you're going to die, you might as well die in beautiful surroundings. So the park was my first thought. After a whole day of dicing with death, I emerged with only relatively minor bruises. So, you got the knack of it? Don't be silly. Dying isn't something you can learn to do. Mr. Nasumi, you keep talking about dicing with death and dying and so forth, but riding a bicycle is supposed to be fun. Oh no, that's just what people tell you. That is no wife's tale. Is it? I mean, just consider the real names of the vehicles. It's not called a bicycle for nothing. How anyone expects to use such an unnamed vehicle to move forward is beyond me. Power promises pain! I didn't think it was possible to get worse with practice. I'm lucky to be alive! Although, I must say, after looking death in the eye for a whole week, I did at least manage to make the seat readily. Notwithstanding a few wobbles, I found I could make progress in a forward direction. What a triumph. Deductions is much the same. When first presented with a problem, a mental scourge, trying to solve it only leads to bitter disappointment. And after a week of picking one's way carefully along the path of reasoning and thought, one begins to see results. So, is that why all your off-the-cuff deductions always seem half-baked? What about inside of your extraordinary mind, Mr. Jones? Unfortunately, after wobbling down the street, I noticed there were little stones everywhere. Death traps! Not that way, I said to myself. But the white vehicle wouldn't listen. It followed me on and on down the street. So, of course, I hit one of those deadly stones. And the creature caught and threw me. It's just my luck. Bicycles are the epitome with my pitiful life. I wish I could disagree. On the same subject, I'm sure there's a famous American author who's writing about having a similar experience. Oh yes, I've read that essay too, Iris. Some of us are better readers than others. Well, no more bicycle for me. Well, Mr. Jimmy, at least you have an interesting acolyte to take with you back to Japan, if nothing less. You always manage to put a positive spin on things, don't you, Mr. Sano? Personally, I haven't mounted a bicycle for some time. No, me neither. That's good. So how about a jaunt? We shall all ride out together. Huh? That sounds great. I'll push behind. And Mr. Sano. But the sun is going down. It'll be pitch black before long. London street lamps are very bright, you know. The fog isn't too thick today. And my beloved ride is all bent out of shape. My dear fellow, if you're bound to trouble the fit. But anyway, it's fitting that it's alright bent out of shape. It's settled then. Come along, Mr. Nasumi. Shall we go? Natsuki ga Kari desu ne. Don't tell me that his translation of no thank you as well. Essentially, indeed necessary. The moon is up. Is most beautiful at precious this time of the evening. Oh, we're not Japanese. You can't be in the bush with us. What? Oh wait, one of them. Whoa! Got 2 episodes left. On Briar Road, a chilling escapade about the chill and escapes from the clutches of Rolly and Pat Bray, who only just found it on the street. Gina the pickpocket is the obvious suspect. Runasaki, Shomes, and Iris happen to be passing. The plot quickly thickens. 30th of April, 12:20 p.m. Briar Road. Oh wow, I forgot that. Constable Raleigh Bright. Oh, Raleigh Beat. Reporting for duty. Thanks to the good office of Lord Van Six. I'm back on my beat here in the capital, doing my best for the good citizens of London. Sha! Ah, my Raleigh, back in his Bobby uniform. He couldn't look any more handsome if he tried. Ah, my love, you said the sweetest things. Oh, Pat. Oh, Raleigh. Oh, God. Oh, God. Yes! Lord Van Six isn't the Reaper at the Bailey at all. Oh, no, of course not. He's the patent saint of Bobbies. Oh, sorry, the Patreon. Patreon saint. Oh yes, Pat, you're so right, my darling. Keep us in pockets as he is. Keep us in pockets. My first day back on the job. What did I find? Find it in the gutter? A shilling, my love. A whole shilling. Oh, Raleigh, I always believed in you. I always knew one day you'll find some big, small change. Was just that shilling? With just that shilling, I could buy you a cheap bunch containing a single flower. You're my sugar. A single flower? Oh, hi, romantic. But I'm so sorry, Pat. Only moments ago, that shilling disappeared. It disappeared? But how, my love? How? I think maybe. No, I'm sure. It was this girl here, Shaw! She swiped my precious shilling, didn't you? You cheeky little diver. Blimey. You took your time getting around to me, didn't ya? Didn't ya? I thought the lovey-dovey stuff wasn't gonna end. Or I'm gonna end. So, a shilling, you say? Get the phone, you word. Don't know nothing about it. Where's the evidence, eh? Right there! The evidence is dancing around the back of your hand, young lady. You stole it from me! You lifted it from my pocket just now. You got the nerve stealing from a Bobby. Robus! This coin's mine! Oh! How could you have known anyway? How could you know if it was taken just now or not? Dear me, you don't get it, do ya? You hardly get a penny to your name. So coin felt as heavy as me as a bar of gold. Eh? I'm telling you. The moment I left my pocket, I knew. I felt myself get a good few pounds later. Arr! Yep. That coin's has got my blood, sweat and tears all over it. Yeah. What's the matter with you, eh, Mr. Naruto? Huh? Me? Sorry? When the lady's in trouble, it's sure you're supposed to be there to help. Straight away, not an hour later. This isn't my fault. I haven't stolen anything. What about you, eh, Sholmes? I thought you were supposed to be a great detective. Dear me, Mr. Straight. Actually, I never noticed the fact on this that as Mr. Sholmes. That never occurred to me till today. Took your sweet time getting around to me, didn't you? I thought that lunch move was never gonna end. You only said, give us a minute when we spun you over the road and said hello. That was 10 minutes ago, Ginny. We've just been standing here listening to you quarrel with this Bobby. I do beg your pardon, madame. You shouldn't be troubling the public with police business. But that shilling belongs to us, doesn't it, Raleigh? Of course it does, my love. It's just for you and me, my darling. This was just supposed to be a nice stroll of Iris and Mr. Jones before afternoon tea. Why did we have to run to another fiasco on Briar Street Road? I don't really see how we could be of any help to you know. There's no way knowing who the coin really belongs to if it was just dropped in the gutter. I wouldn't be so sure of that, Bruno. What? I have a feeling I might know the answer. The question on whose coin that was. Ah! My bright young fellow lodger, let's hear the deductions. Well, there's actually a reason why I suggested a stroll down Briar Road. Oh? What reason? You see, I was here yesterday well, I dropped a little something. I wanted to come and look for it while enjoying an afternoon stroll. Wait, you dropped something? You don't mean... It was the pocket money that Huey gave me. What's that, Iris? You dropped that, didn't you? I'm sorry. I went to the market on Line Street yesterday to pick up some herbs, you see. But on the way, I must have dropped it. That 1 shilling coin you gave me. Oh? A ball pit? A 1 ball pit? Yep. Yes. And when I went back over the road I took, I realized I must have dropped it here. Constable. Well, that you haven't seen it, have you? It's all my pocket money, and now it's gone. Well, I'm afraid I don't know anything about that young lady. What rotten luck. Dropping your mind like that. Sorry. I dare say the constable and his companion could give you a run for your money with their wide eyes. It was all the same to you, Mr. Sholmes. I think I prefer not to be used as a yardstick for looking guilty. Well, it's tough, really, and Iris, you dropped it, so it ain't yours no more. Anyway, you know what to say. What goes around comes around. So don't feel bad. Bad luck, Iris. It doesn't look like you're going to get your coin back. Oh, I can't believe I lost it. And straight after Huey gave it to me as well. Yes, regrettably indeed. I seem to recall that particular coin was rather significant. What do you mean, significant? To be specific, it was especially significant to you, Murno. Significant to me? Ah, you don't mean it was a coin from last night's wager? Very same, my dear fellow. What's this then? What wager? It was a game of poker. A duel between Huey and Bruno. Poker? What? That tricky card game, you mean? As a lawyer, I have a perfect poker face. You'd never be able to tell what I'm thinking, said he. But the private mission I heard of his entire fortune was even easier than finding that missing thoroughbred. It was so infuriating. Reliving it now still makes me grit my teeth. Sorry, Iris. I had every intention of paying you back the money I owed you, but you'll have to wait, I'm afraid. Yes, I know. Don't worry. This month is fine. Let me guess, Odo. Your whole fortune. Well, it was 1 whole shilling. My entire monthly stripping, and I lost all of it. As I handed over to Jones, I gritted my teeth so hard my gums started to bleed. Please, Bruno, don't exaggerate. That's a horrible image. What about a lawyer who borrows money from a 10-year-old girl? Nah, that's a horrible image. Why do I feel my reputation with this couple has just fallen for the floor? There are a few things more invigorating than taking a man for all it's worth. Don't be so pleased with yourself, Huey. It's not as if Bruno ever had a chance of winning. Wait, what? What do you mean by that? Well, you see that special ink I developed? Anyone could. Thank you, Aris. That will do. I'm sure this conversation is proving very dull for everyone. What's done is done. The game is over now. There's no point crying over spilled milk. Special ink? You say? Well, Sean! That sounds like some sort of risky business. That's right up my alley. Oh, Raleigh, I love your dauntless spirit. You laugh in the face of danger. Come on then, Aris. Spill it. What's this special ink about, eh? Ah, well, it's what's sometimes called invisible ink. All you have to do is write the suit and number on the reversible side of every card. And with the aid of some special glasses, the whole game is laid bare to you. Wait, you were wearing glasses last night, weren't you, Mr. Sholmes? You said some lines of, my eyesight appears to have suddenly worsened. And at the moment you felt the question, that is all, was the moment I knew that I won the game. Mind games, was it? Trying to throw me off with your eccentric ways. So you're telling me Sholmes could see every card what Odo had? What? But that's not mind games. That's blatant cheating. My dear fellows, what an accusation. Would you honestly consider me a cheat? Please, I prefer a trickster. Whatever you call it, the game doesn't count now. Understand, Mr. Sholmes? Dear me. Well, out of respect for the bad grace with which you take defeat, allow me to return your shilling. You hear that, Gina? So give it here. Eh? Leave me out of this. Here's the one ball pin. This here's one ball pin was my stop. No question. Nusha. That there one ball pin was lifted from the street, from this here boy's pocket only a few minutes ago. So you keep saying, come on then, where's the evidence? Eh? The law, right? It's all about evidence. I know my stuff. See, Mr. Naruto? Use your trite excuse in court, and others will parrot it. Only, whenever I do it, when I do say that in court, it isn't a trite excuse, you know. As I said, yeah, the coin has got my blood, sweat, and tears all over it. That's right, it has. Well, its blood, sweat, and tears are the evidence. Blood, you say? In that case, it's time for this. Ah, do you think? Well, if there's any trace of blood in the coin, we'll soon know about it. All right, Ginny. Hold very still. Eh? What? Ah! Look at that! See that on the coin? It's clearly changed color. In other words, there is blood in this coin. But again, I say, sure, that would be my blood, sweat, and tears. Ooh, weird. I've seen blood turn this color before. Yes, I know whose it is. I know whose coin it is. What? The rightful owner of the split-stained shilling is... Bruno! Huh? Me? On the appearance of the blood, I would say it is quite fresh. Left within the last 24 hours. Within the last... Ah! Then, in that case... So, this is a coin what Sholmes out of Otto last night in the poker game. Oh, Bruno, do you mean you really did make your gums bleed? I told you, I was so infuriated to lose. I had to grip my teeth so... I had my dream fast, I handed over the money. Blimey. Yours are... Yours are up as me by the sounds of it. I thought you had a proper job. Come on, Gina. Hand it over, would ya? The shilling. That's rightfully mine. Arg, fine! Alright then. Just stop your bleeding staring. I finally have it back. It's like a dream come true. And there you are, that one in the bag and all. That's wonderful news, Renault. I'm so happy for you. Hi, Dan. As you promised. I'd like my money back, please. The shilling I lent you before. You did say you'd pay me back out of this one's pocket money, didn't you? Oh, yes. Well then, I suppose. My dear fellows, do be so kind to your gums. Looks like that shilling was always destined to be taken from you, Sha. For some reason, the phrase serves you right is floating around my head. So, Iris, as promised, here. It's the shilling I owe you. Oh, you're repaying me already? Well, thank you. Next month would have been fine, though. What's all about anyway? What are you lending Odo money for? Ah, yes. Well, actually, it's because I went to the Lime Street Market yesterday to buy herb. For Bruno. Herbs? For Odo? Yes. The tea Mr. Sano left behind is top quality Hyokuro tea, but it's far just too bitter. When I suggest mixing it with some herbs to make it more palatable, I asked her to buy me some. That's right. We've made a special Japanese herbal tea with the leftover Hyokuro. I'm gonna call it Susano's Special Blend. I do hope you all tried. The excruciating bitterness clings to the throat. If you could persuade the bright green glip to leave the cup. Why, it sounds quite delicious! Yeah, right. Well, it would appear that the shilling brief adventure is now at its end. Adventure? You must agree, my dear fellow, that the going has made a considerable journey since last night. Let's see. Originally, it was a coin I was supposed to pay. Get the Iris to pay for the herbs. But then, in our poker doll last night, it passed to you, Mr. Sholmes. You gave it the Iris to spend the money. Then I dropped it here sometime yesterday. Then my beloved Raleigh found it a while ago and picked it up. Before it was slipped from my pocket by this here diver. The name's my favorite gun in the shoe, the blood that was on it. And let's slip it by Sholmes' little scam in his card game last night. The animal of which resulted in the coins returning to the ownership of Mr. Naruhodo, allowing me to pay Iris the money I owed her after all. For the herbs she bought me in order to make Susie's special blend tea. And now, after all that, the coin is resting safely in my pocket. Yeah, you're right. That was an adventure. But what are we supposed to take away from it, eh? That this one shilling coin belongs to Iris and Iris alone, I think. I cannot fault your observation, Miss Naruhodo. Well, you know what they say. What goes around comes around. Why do I get the feeling that Iris knew it was coming around to her from the very beginning? Priceless, as I say. Well then, my dear fellows, how about this evening we indulge in some bitter tea and a better rematch? I'll even allow you to stink the coming month's spending money in advance. I fold. Okay. And yeah, thank you for... It's been... So, one episode left, and officially that's done. In the Bailey. This escapade takes place in the Old Bailey courtroom where the defendant is none other than Sholmes himself and the charge, the most mysterious murderer. Murasaki naturally advocates for the defense against the unfathomable Reaper, Lord Fan 6. But Sholmes' testimony calls the true culprit of the crime in the question. Exactly. Oh, it actually does mention this. Oh yeah, it actually does mention these are all from the first game. Final date unknown. The Old Bailey courtroom. It's been so. One last time, I get to do. It's been a while. Fairness and style. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Hurlock Sholmes. This is the most extraordinary case of murder, Consuls. I assume I may proceed? Yes, my lord. The defense is ready. At your discretion, my lord. Very well. I hereby call upon the prosecution to introduce the case. The incident in question took place 2 days ago, late at night, when the ground was blanketed with snow. The location of the incident was the residence of the accused, Mr. Hurlock Sholmes. Indeed? The now famous address of number 221B Baker Street, was it? The address may have enjoyed fame once, my lord, but will henceforth enjoy infamy for this grim crime. Yes, sir. Well put. Victim, Sir Madame Rosie was found asphyxiated on the accursed sofa. My word.
Objection.
But it's unclear as to whether the victim was actually killed in the defendant's suite or not. After all, when Mr. Sholmes left the room for only a brief moment, Madame Rosie somehow vanished herself out of the room completely. Vanished herself, Counsel? Victim? Quite true, my lord. There is but one adjoining door between my drawer, room and kitchen. Yet, having brewed some tea in the kitchen, I returned to the room to find the room completely empty. There was nobody else present? Ordinarily, my fellow lodger Iris would have been home. However, on the day in question, she had been invited to a meeting of a scientific society in the city. I'm afraid you have a propensity for exaggeration, sir. You claim that the victim vanished herself, but really? It seems to be entirely plausible that she chose to leave the main entrance to your suite. As it happens, my lord, the door to the accuser's room was locked at the time, from the inside. Very true, Inspector. As such, I can say with considerable surety that the victim did not leave via my front door. But what about, aha, yes! She could have snuck out the window. Or snuck out through the window.
Objection.
The window in the room were not locked, it's true, and the victim had the opportunity. However, there was snow all around the building outside, and not a patch of it has been disturbed. Would my learned friend care to explain how the victim could have left without leaving a trail? The victim, Madame Rosie, somehow vanished from the scene before she was killed? Ark. Naturally, I was alarmed by the sudden disappearance of my guest. So I summoned this gentleman, who resided in the attic room above my own, and we took a cab to Scotland Yard. I can confirm that the defendant called for me, and I saw his suite on my way downstairs. And yes, I'm quite sure it was empty, just as Mr. Sholmes has said. When we reached the yard, the spy detective happened to be there. Well, yes, you see, I was just in my office for a while, hadn't got back for some important business. And then, having explained the situation to the inspector, we traveled back to Baker Street together. At the time, there were no footprints in the snow around the building other than the ones we made. Do I take it then, Counsel? You personally witnessed the scene of the incident took place? No, my lord. I went straight up to the bed in my own room in the attic. Inspector Grayson, however, was met with a most blood-curdling sight. On Mr. Sholmes' sofa, the vanished Madame Rosie motionless. So the victim was already dead when you discovered her, Inspector? No, my lord. Not dead. But not far off it. She mustered all her remaining strength to say these dying words. That rotten Sholmes will be the death of me. Ah, yes, I overheard that remark at the time too. Delivered in a rasping voice, full of malice. No! Those words indeed proved to be her last. The victim expired moments later, there on the sofa. Cause of death was identified as damage to the respiratory tract as a result of strangulation. Strangulation. Damn it. Ray, does the accused dare to contest the inspector's account? Certainly not. In fact, the inspector has done an unusually fine job of summarizing this salient points. Also, I just briefly hit some there, so it's kind of like the death slam. Sholmes will be the death of me. Damn me, the punning worse indeed. In her final moments, the victim named her killer. You, Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Objection.
Oh crap, I can't remember. But the defendant has no reason to take the victim's life. Perhaps you could tell the court, Mr. Sholmes, who exactly this Madame Mercy was. Ah, yes, of course. Did I never mention her to you? I sent an invitation to her that evening, though she was loquacious to the extreme. The most trivial matters quickly became a quarrel. I was only too pleased to leave her present to make tea. Her presence making great. It would appear then that the accused did in fact have a motive for silencing his erratic guest permanently.
Objection.
Putting that tenuous motive aside, what about the other mystery surrounding the case? I'm inclined to agree with the defense. There remains a number of in-scrutiny details. The victim's alleged disappearance of substantially reappearance, leaving no trail of footprints, for example. That's right! The crime described by the prosecution could have never happened! Yet the victim named the accused in her dying breath. It seems to me that my learned friend has overlooked significant detail here. Oh, sorry, a significant detail here. Nonsense! What have I overlooked? The man in the dock, the so-called Great Detective, all too frequently makes the following bold claim. There is no crime beyond the realm of possibility, no mystery beyond my power of reasoning. So, Mr. Sholmes, you will have no difficulty in explaining how the crime thus described could have taken place. Therefore, I propose a toast to the great detective upholding his name. Of course, were I to put my mind to the matter, the crime would immediately appear to all present to be entirely feasible. Please, Mr. Sholmes, whose side are you on? All I need to say is, no! Even I can't think of a way that a crime like that could have ever been committed. Let the accused's admission be noted by the court. Though the crime may appear possible to us mortals of inferior mental capacity, this man alone claims to know exactly how it was done.
Hold it!
Now hold on, there's a very practical argument. Thank you, counsels. I believe I've heard more than enough to proceed my adjudication. The accused great detective did, in some inscrutable manner, willfully murder the victim, Madame Rosie. I therefore find the defendant guilty. Let the man be taken to this courtroom on some equal and scrutiny matter, be sanctioned for his crimes. Court is adjourned.
Hold it!
My lord, please. The truth about the mysterious surrounding this case is known to another besides the great detective. What's this? Oh my word, Miss Aruhiro, you're coming along wonderfully. You have deduced a fundamental truth about this case, I believe. Which would be, detective, that the truth of this case is known only to the true culprit, obviously. Is that not so, Grayson? Eh, what? Well, I suppose, yes. You don't mean, are you suggesting, Mr. Sholmes, that you have an idea as to what actually happened that night? An idea? My dear fellows? I could explain the entire incident from start to finish, with not a single detail omitted.
Objection!
It seems the detective has failed to grasp the situation. Pray, Mr. Reaper, which of us has truly failed to grasp the situation, I wonder? Then answer me this. You claim that prior to the incident, the victim suddenly vanished without trace from your room. If so, how exactly did Madame Rosie disappear? Why, naturally, via the window. It was ajar after all. But that can't be! The room was a whole story above street level. And anyway, no prints were found in the snow. There are a number of ways one could avoid leaving tracks in the snow, surely. Such as flying, for instance. A fatuous notion. And to where did you propose the victim flew, Mr. Sholmes? Is it not entirely plain? To the culprit's abode, of course. Or having left my suite, that is clearly where Madame Rosie was murdered. Take a moment to consider the cruel irony, if you will. By her own volition, she flew directly to her death.
Objection!
You forget, detective, the victim's corpse was discovered on your own sofa. No doubt because she carried her back there. The killer carried her back there. But what about the lack of footprints in the snow again then? There just weren't any. Other than our own. Or when we returned home ourselves. If by our footprints you referring to your own or mine, you're quite right. But there were those of another. On the night in question, there was one other person who conveyed the victim to my sofa. What? Good gracious! To whom do you refer, sir? A man who somewhat unveiling present at the scene of the crime would be questioned by no one. Unveiling? Ah! You don't mean... Did I do? A man who hastened to the scene directly upon learning of the incident at Scotland Yard, namely... You, Inspector Grayson! Eh? When you arrived at my address on Baker Street, you were carrying the half-dead Madame Rosie with you. You waited for a suitable opportunity and then laid the victim on my sofa. You did? What?
Objection!
But we were with the inspector when he arrived. How is he supposed to have been carrying the victim? We would have noticed. My dear fellows, a most obvious answer presents itself, does it not? The inspector is surely, if ever, without his overcoat. The victim was simply conveyed in one of those many pockets. I fail to see what makes this detective great. But I can say one thing with great certainty. A human body cannot fit into the pockets of an overcoat. I believe you all may have fallen foul of a rather significant misapprehension. What? Madame Rosé was not a human. I beg your pardon? Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Miss Naruhodo. Something troubling you, perhaps? Whatever gives you that idea? Exactly what sort of creature was Madame Rosé? Is it not apparent already? A parakeet, of course. What? Huh? I'm a self-conceding specimen. In fact. A parakeet? She was an incessant talker, I must say. Her manners were quite intolerable at times. Won't to turn every conversation into a quarrel, I thought. To strangle the creature is more than one occasion. You had a quarrel? The parakeet? But of course, what else would she have chosen to fly from my window so unguardedly that evening? To the abode of the inspector here besides me, no less. The Inspector Grace is above? But why? Because that was the parakeet's home, naturally. What are you? The inspector was called away from town for some days. So it was arranged that I would look after the bird. But it appeared that she was overcome with a sudden yearning for her keeper. Thus prompting her flight from my comfortable suite to the inspector's office at Scotland Yard. Well, Grayson, I believe it's high time you explain. Give us the account of what happened that night. Spare no details, of course. Inspector Grayson. It was an accident. I got back from being away that evening, you see. I just walked through the door of my office. Never mentioned Rana was saying we'd be on our way back to the yard as well. I slammed the door shut behind me, just as she was trying to fly through it. But Madame Rosé, she got sandwiched between the door and the frame and fell to the floor. Ouch. Never to move again, because of me. Well, I never. I had to do something. And just when I was trying to think of a plan, the fellas arrived talking about some incident at Baker Street. Oh! I had to hide Madame Rosé in a hurry. I stuffed it in my coat pocket and got in the cab with the pair of you. What could possibly have motivated you to behave in such a manner, Inspector? Lord Strongheart, sir. What? Lord Strongheart? Please tell me I didn't hear that right. It was the Lord Chief Justice who asked me to look after the bird in the first place. She'd been living with the pigeons at the Supreme Court until then. But apparently the other birds had started to pick on her. So for the past 6 months or so, I've been carrying her in my office of Scotland at the yard. See. If anything happened to that bird, just imagine! No pay, no time off for the rest of my career. You mark my words, that's what's gonna happen. That's why well... But the victim's dying worse, Inspector. According to her, the Madame Rosé spoke the name of her assailant on her deathbed. At rotten Sholmes will be the death of me. Indeed she did! Quite uncalled for, wouldn't you agree? Those words are your true feelings, are they not, Inspector? Literally, you speak of me often at your office in the yard. in that despairing manner. A manner that the Mary Parakeet took much delight in mimicking. Well, come on! I mean, have you read this month's edition of Random's Magazine, eh? Sorry! This is all absolutely true! I'm wrong, Lord Van Six. No, nothing. I almost shut it off for a moment there. It's hard not to drift off when you've been waiting for 3 hours already. I wonder if I'll manage to meet with Lord Strongheart at all today. We may have to deliver the report on the Windy Bank case that he asked for on another day. Tell me, Inspector, what become of that bird? Ah, Madame Rosie, you mean? She had a narrow escape, but she's still alive. I did her back here not long ago, actually, on Lord Strongheart's orders. He's hoping the patients will accept her now. It was something of a shock to hear that she'd been crushed in the doorway of your office. Especially as we were all under the misapprehension that Madame Rose was a person. Huh? Sorry about that. It was Lord Strongheart's demand that... Ah, good, you're here. I apologize for my tardiness. I'm exactly 3 hours, 24 minutes, and 57 seconds late. Oh no, my lord! No, please don't trouble yourself. Nothing gets a greater person than standing here doing nothing for hours on end. Pardoning. So, let's hear it then. Your report! And these birds demand to know too. The Windy Bank trial is concluded, but it is far from over. It seems that dark far eastern lawyer and I have some shared destiny. We will meet again. On that, I have no doubt. Is it alone, Shard? Did you? Madame Rose went flying off among the other pigeons there. Happiest lariat she was. Really, Inspector? You must be relieved. And that is the extra episodes of Random's Magazines. And with that, we've nigh did every episode in the game. We've done all. We finally hit the end. Those are the voice recitals. We'll just hear one of each, so we'll just pick one and then go there.
I will become a lawyer. I have to.
Alright. So.
It really is a dream come true.
Just one of each, so. Let's engage in our.
Now, let us engage in the art of deduction. Mr. Naruhodo.
Okay. Just one of each and we'll wrap up.
Look! I used this! It's my latest invention!
Look at it. Oh, we have to. We'll put another one on this one.
A Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go and cuts down anything that's in my way.
And these seem to be like voice lines that would have been in the game normally, but were put away. Truly fascinating.
The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed.
Okay. There's like these intermills which are just unused songs and stuff, but I don't think we should bother. I don't think I'll bother with that. So with that, we're officially done with the game. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, if you call up this extra episode, it's essentially it was an extra episode, nothing really. So I might just call this one Ace Attorney Chronicles by Excavate Edition and stuff like that. So we'll just give it that. So that being said, hope it's a good day, hope it's a good week. I think the way it's going, I won't be able to stream tomorrow, Wednesday. I think things are happening, so I'm going to keep that in mind. Which is fine. Well, Wednesday, I don't know what was going to plan for Wednesday anyway, so we'll keep that in mind. And I'm still doing some grinding on Base Monster Hunter, so we'll come to that. But we'll just go from there. I'll just wait to see how things go. So that being said, I'll see you all next time. Bye!